You can start, Jovial. Jovial, please, you can start.
All right. I am going to talk about entrepreneurship. My name is Jacinta Amau, and I am also a business owner. So what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to give also practical examples, not just what one would read in a textbook, but actual practical examples. So what is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a person who is action-oriented, highly motivated, takes risks to achieve goals, and is also a person who establishes his or her own business with the intention of making profits. That's why somebody would start a business. I'm sure there are none of us who would start a business without wanting to make profits. And this particular topic, I think, is quite important, especially because of what the world has faced recently. We have all been through COVID, people have lost their jobs, and other people even died, business owners even died, and some are not even able to get up again. And people are looking for different ways of earning money. And one of the ways to do that, which I have seen quite a lot in my country, is that people have gone into entrepreneurship. Now, why are entrepreneurs so essential? Entrepreneurs are essential for the growth of any country. And it's really important, especially now that, going back to COVID, we have experienced such a tough time. So they're really important because they usually set up something, new, or they create many jobs. They create jobs for other people. We may look at entrepreneurs as a bit frightening, a bit daunting. When you hear the word entrepreneur, people always look at it as frightening. But if you go in the streets, those people who sell apples or whatever it is that they're selling, those are under that particular category, entrepreneurs. And we have different types. And then there's one becomes an entrepreneur due to innovation. Because of a huge competition, entrepreneurs always try to introduce new products, technology, goods, and more in the market to further enhance the standard of living of people. And then another thing that they try to do is, through entrepreneurship, because you're basically employing people, whether you're employing 2 or 3 people, you are actually making the society better. With the employment options, entrepreneurs, they bring changes in the society and they generate new ways for betterment. They help promote better education, better sanitation, fewer slums, and high-level home ownership with the innovations and support. You may ask, education, how? If somebody employs you, whether you're employed in a company or a big company or a small company, that person at the end of the day, they do pay you a little something. And if you have children, you're able to send your children to school. And also, if you're, in a slum, you can also be able to make life better by, maybe you can also start a small business, because people in the small, in slums or in small areas of that sort, they do trade in what we call petty trading, and then increase the standard of living, as I've talked about already, through entrepreneurship, because it's employment. One is able to have a better life And then, support research and development. Because before the product is launched, you have to get that product, you have to get it accepted by the authorities. Like where I live in Malawi, we have got what we call the Malawi Bureau of Standards. Now, you cannot put a product on the market without that product having been looked at. Is it sanitary? Is it a good product in the sense of nutrition? Is it going to help people in that sense? So, entrepreneurs are quite important in our society. And I'll give it, so there are different types of entrepreneurs. They're based on the business type. I talked about different types of businesses based on technology, based on the ownership, based on gender, and also the enterprise size. This, also helps one even in the kind of business that one would want to set up. So I'm going to talk about private entrepreneurship. This is when an entrepreneur starts something personal of his or her own, such as setting up an enterprise. He or she is called a private entrepreneur, and we see this quite a lot. A private entrepreneur is the only person who plays a sole proprietor role for that venture, and they bear the risks involved. And a lot of people are quite afraid to get into business. It's risky. The risk is there. You may put in a lot of money and not get the kind of return that you would want. We'll also have a look at that, how you can have a very, very good business. And then, please may go to the next slide. So basically what one does is, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you can develop a unique idea for your business. And then you need to have an understanding of the various enterprise sectors, such as management, finance, accounting, marketing. And then you have to have a proper business plan, and then also finance the project that you're doing. You hire employees with corresponding business requirements. You just don't hire anybody for, let's say you want to open up, I don't know, a hairdressing shop. You wouldn't employ mechanics because they wouldn't know how to go about the business. Then implement competitive strategies and launch products or services, find the correct related market and customers to distribute their products or services. You expand the business, combining new ideas and products. So I'm going to go a little deeper into what I have shared with you on the slides on entrepreneurship. I'm going to talk about my own journey. I said in the beginning, I said that I'll also give practical examples. I'm not just going to give you tips on how you can set up a business, but I give practical examples. When you want to become an entrepreneur, it's important to like what you're doing. I had, at one point, I went into web designing and brochure designing because I'm multi-skilled and I wanted to earn extra money from what I was doing. And I had a customer from hell. This client was the most difficult client I had. This client would not respect my time. At that time, I used to tutor. I'm also an English tutor. So that was my morning job from 9 up to lunchtime. That's what I used to do. So as I said, I decided, let me do something extra to earn some money. I have the skills. So I went into web designing, and it was a big regret for me because I had this one client who knew that I was tutoring in the mornings. She didn't respect my time. She would call me before I would go into class. She'd even call me in class. So she felt that because she was paying me, she could call me anytime that she wanted. And in the end, I ended up not enjoying what I was doing. And I haven't gone back to web designing or brochure designing because of that. I didn't like it. And, sometimes I would see the phone ringing. I would think, twice, do I pick it up? At the same time, I didn't be rude, because if you're an entrepreneur, the whole idea is for you to make money. The whole idea is for you to make profits. And if you're rude to a customer, people generally would tell other people not to use that particular service. So I didn't want to do that. My heart would literally sink when I saw the call from this particular client. I didn't like it. So you need to enjoy what you're doing. Another tip I would give is, if you want to get into a business, it's better if you're underemployed to start that business while you're still employed than just get right into it after maybe you have retired, or maybe you're tired of the job and then you want to quit without tasting the water. So it's better for you to be doing it while you're still underemployed, so that at the end of the day, you're not frustrated. Because when you are a business owner, a lot of people think that they would make money straight away, maybe the first month. It's not like that. You have to be disciplined. You have to be very disciplined. You have to know what you're doing. And it's best, if you want to get into entrepreneurship, not to get into it because someone else is doing it. For example, I am a tutor. I own another business, which is a travel business. And how I got into the travel business was because I worked for many, many years in the travel industry. So I knew everything about the travel industry. I worked in finance in the same travel industry. I was a financial accountant for 3 years. I also trained employees that came to the company, and we had over 200 employees. And I also did packages, because when you're in the tourism industry, if you're a tour operator, you have to do packages. So I did packages. I did basically quite a lot of what somebody who wants to open such a business is supposed to know. So I did all of that and I enjoyed it. And this is why I enjoy what I'm doing. Even if somebody calls me at 12 in the night and they want some assistance, I don't get irritated because I enjoy it. And I know how to go about it. I know what I'm doing. So it's very important to do that. Another tip I would give is that you have to be patient. You have to be patient in whatever you're doing. As I said, you not make money straight away. Some people think that because I'm a business owner, then I'll make money straight away. It's about you going out to look for business. Sometimes you have to go and look for business, and also be a good service provider. A lot of people, when they start businesses, they start really well, but then in the end, because they see that they have a lot of customers, they tend to slack. And one thing which a lot of people don't like, I'm sure all of us have experienced, how mostly the public sector, there are certain services that the public sector offers the service is actually not very good, and people complain a lot. So, imagine you are a business owner and you have that kind of attitude. You're not going to get return customers. That won't happen. And then another mistake which a lot of business owners make is that they employ the wrong people. You have to employ the right people and know a bit about them, know their background, because you don't get into a situation where you employ somebody and you don't know much about them. These are the kind of people that ruin your business. Don't employ people just because you're one of those people who wants to give peanuts. No, no, no. You need to really invest. Be proud of the business that you want to run. And so I talked about different types of businesses. There are also other kinds of entrepreneurship structures that I'll talk about. We've got partnership enterprises. All these have pros and cons. I'll talk about all of them. We have that type, and then we've got active, and then we have inventors and challengers. All these are different types. If you want to start a business, you should look at which one am I. So the sole operator, this one basically operates everything on his or her own, makes his or her own decisions. And this one has got its disadvantages in the sense that if you're the sole business owner and maybe you're the only employee there, if you're ill, your business will not run. Your business halts. That's the disadvantage of that one. The advantage of that one is that you're able to make your own decisions. You don't need to go to somebody else to ask them on how to go about certain aspects of the business. That you don't have to. And then we have what we call active partners. Active partners are entrepreneurship businesses where you have maybe one or two partners within that enterprise. And these ones are quite tricky, especially if you are with a partner whom you haven't known for a very long time. Sometimes people get excited to get into business without knowing the person whom they're doing business with. And you find that after some time, maybe the person starts stealing money or they're not honest enough. But this kind of entrepreneurship mechanism, it has got its advantage, which is that you're not always there. You can take turns. If it's a shop, you can take turns being there. And then we've got the inventors. These are the kind of entrepreneurs who are very innovative. They're always wanting to create something, always want to create something. They look at what is missing in the market and then they create it. And then we have got the challengers. These are the kind of entrepreneurs who are always very active. They have got that rush in their blood. They're always going after challenges. And then we have got another type, which is quite common. This one is the one where one learns from, let's say, a father, or maybe they learn from maybe an uncle, and these are normally family businesses. These are called lifetimers. So all these businesses that I have, business models that I've talked about, at the end of the day, you want to make a profit. I remember one time, another practical example of how people destroy their businesses. So I was tutoring a certain lady. In fact, I had a group of people that I was tutoring, adults. And she was not an English speaker because I was tutoring English. So she came to me so that she could improve her English. And it happened also that I was also tutoring some kids who happened to have been students of this particular lady. She was a foreign teacher. It was an English school where she taught. So I was a bit curious to know how she taught because she didn't have a good command of English. And there was one session, adults can be a little naughty, where the other students whom I had, the adults, were laughing at her because of a certain English that she had used. One of them said, oh, you know what, I can actually, my English is really bad, but hers is quite bad. So to me, I was a bit flabbergasted because I know the school where these kids whom I was also tutoring were from. So in the end, I found out that school doesn't get a lot of students anymore. It's a business. It's a family-owned school. So they don't get a lot of business anymore because of the type of people that they employ. It's just a bit strange that you're a language teacher, but then yet you have a challenge with the language that you're teaching, because she came to me to teach. So these are practical examples of how people mess up their businesses, how one can do in business. And another thing which a lot of people, business owners, or those who'd want to start businesses make is that they want to have a lot of money. They don't start a business within their means. And then they're always borrowing. If you start a business which is not within your means, and you keep borrowing, and borrowing, it's very bad for the business. It's bad for you because you're not comfortable. You're always stressed. Somebody comes into your place of business. Maybe you're rude. It may be that you don't want to be rude, but then you're rude because of the stress that you are facing, that you're going through. And I hope that the session has been very helpful to you, those of us who want to go ahead and start businesses, maybe because we've lost jobs or we want to earn extra money. We need to look at these factors. What kind of business do I want to start? Do I have the skills? Do I have the know-how? How am I going to go about it? Do I have a business plan? Where am I going to get the money? And it's actually not good to start a business where the money that you are using to start a business you have borrowed. Some people are very aggressive. If they want the money back, you may end up in a situation. I know that some of the people watching me, this kind of situation where maybe the person that they owe money to, they come to the premises of business, and then they may take items which can be very embarrassing. And people behave differently. There's some people who are not respectful of others. So it's better for you, if you want to start a business, it's better not to borrow. Start small, start what you can manage, and really enjoy what you are doing. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that entrepreneurship session that we've had. Thank you.